Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper. And guys, welcome to another edition of the Hard Truth Show. It is such a pleasure to be back with everybody. I apologize for being off base for a while. There has been a lot go on in my life. Just when I think I have everything normalized, and I had quit somewhere I had worked with for over a decade and went to work at another employer. And a situation happened where actually a lot of bad things happened with that employer. Unfortunately, and I hope it all sorts out, but they ended up having to let me go because of things that had happened to them. And so I found myself unemployed for like the first time in like almost 20 years, I think. So this has been an interesting journey. So doing some new things in my life and opening some new doors if all goes to plan, and we'll see how that sorts out. But in the meantime, in light of the Charlie Kirk shooting and all that, it really recircled the wagons for me to talk about Palantir. Because for those that don't know about Palantir, I think it is going to be one of the absolute most dangerous tools used in the future against everyone. Like, it doesn't matter if you are a believer or non-believer, a pagan or a good person, white, black, Hispanic, Latino, non-Latino, Asian, African, whatever you want to label yourself, whatever ethnic, religion, race, you name it. It doesn't matter if you're straight, gay, transgender, confused, identify as an animal, whatever. Let me tell you, this stuff is going to hunt you down like a dog. Okay. And I'm just being very blunt as I'm hitting this today. But guys, I know I don't produce a lot of content on here at the rate that I used to, but when I hit it, I want to hit it feet beating the street anymore with the most important content that I can, because I'm trying to, survive out here in this life too. And I work a day job. Matter of fact, I thought about, I'm just going to softly put this out here today, that I have never asked anyone for anything in 15 years of ministry on here. I think that's right, 15 years, 2012 to 2025, going on 26, be about 15 years, I think. I've never asked anybody for anything, but I think I'm actually going to open up something, an idea to everyone in a video coming up, that if everyone would just support the channel once a year for like $1, I literally could sit at the house and do this full-time ministry. Probably produce content almost every other day on here if I just had the time to sit, research, compile all this. Like, dang, I've been working a regular job plus a part-time plus hustling, all this stuff. So anyway, so for those that are not familiar with Palantir, okay, and I'm just going to throw this up here so you can understand the verbiage of how that's written out, right, is that it is from Lord of the Rings, is where that word comes from. It is an ancient evil, okay? It was actually made by the elves in the Lord of the Rings fictional series and such. But Shabbat Shalom to everybody coming in the building. Hope everyone had a wonderful Sabbath, those that keep the Father's true scriptural calendar too. I know Feast of Trumpets is coming up as well. Not to go squirrel on you, but hope that everyone has a wonderful 7th month coming up. Y'all willing. And so anyway, this company got that motivation to label their company from that out of Lord of the Rings. And that's where this specifically comes from. And I want to show you a few slides real quick. And I'm going to show you 2 videos. I'm going to kind of talk through on some of these videos. I believe there is a little bit of foul language in one of them. I'm going to cut it beforehand. I don't think there's anything sketchy in the other one, best I remember from watching this. But anyway, look, I try to keep this clean on here. So this is other people's content I'm sharing. So just bear with me. I wish I knew how to like scrub it live, and I would do that as well. But there is nothing new under the sun. Okay, so I just want you to understand that, a lot of this technology is being used today. I am fully 100% sold out that it is ancient technology, fallen angels and stuff. This is nothing new under the sun. Okay, so it's just, you're going to have a hard time convincing me otherwise. All right. So right here, put this up on the screen first, as I was explaining from J.R.R. Tolkien's, fantasy, the Lord of the Rings series. This is where that you get Palantir. All right. And it was a crystal ball, you know, where that people, I wouldn't say divine from, but you would see, you could look in, I believe you could look into the past. I think you could also possibly look in the future. I can't remember. But anyway, this is a brief synopsis on Wikipedia. And you could also look real time and see where other people were and things and such and etc. And in Middle Earth, you know, this was used, of course, by the wizards and etc. But when you look at, and now this, you know, what's crazy is I hate Google anymore. This is the AI overview is always up top anymore on everything you look up. It's just crazy how much AI is being integrated. And I've warned people about this when I done a video about AI, which also will be in the video link from down below in the description from past content I've covered, because it is so important to segue from that or off of this back to that, because I said this in the past, this stuff was coming and it's here. All right. And you can pause the screen later on and go back and read all this if you need to, but I'm just going to go through these slides. So this technology company took that name and used that, right? And they create data software that helps pretty much compartmentalize people for the government to see and commercial entities to see like their base, who they want to market to, why they do the things they do. And then, of course, for the government wise is to find you and to kill you. I mean, that's really what it all boils down to. I'm literally going to play content in a minute that the CEO of the company is literally sitting there admitting to that as far back as Osama bin Laden, you know, people were unalived for that very purpose and intent from this company. Okay. Like I said, you can come back and pause this because I'm just getting this here up so that those that aren't aware of all of this can at least get a brief overview real quick while I'm talking to you. And then later you can come back and read this in full depth because the two videos go very, very clear into this, everything you pretty much need to know and fair use on what I'm about to share. But what I will say to you is this, is that what you see today, like when you see things in a public eye, right? You need to understand that it's been in the works for a long time. I'll give you an example, right? Smartwatches and cell phones, for example, right? These things, they get produced and then their replacement, like the iPhone. I've had this phone for like what, a year or two, the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 17, I think it is. They just sent a thing out the other day or today or yesterday that, hey, iPhone 17 is available. Get it. And it's like, man, I just got the 16 not long ago. Like, what's the reason to get the 17? And they have got this stuff like pre-produced for a long time. You know, it's been going on for a long, long minute. And so while I say that is that I've said to you guys in that other AI video live stream that I've done is, I don't have a thumbnail throw up here in a moment, but like I said, I'll put it in the video description after I'm done with this live stream tonight, is that when you look back that you see from 2015, they said in 10 years that there would be AI. And here we are, 2025, and it's everywhere, just rampant. It's like they have to tell you things. And I think I told you this multiple times. Brother Joel's told me this in the past, that it's called in the occult world, the process of revelation is what they call that, right? And so long and short of it, that is essentially what's done in movies as well, and news and etc. media. They have to tell you what's coming, just like they did in all sorts of stuff for years about 9/11 before that went on. And now you can look back and it's just everywhere in movies and videos and cartoons and etc. All right, so let's add this to the stage. I'm going to play this first one. I'm going to pause along the way. I'm going to commentate. Fair use. Here we go.
In Lord of the Rings, the Palantir Stone is a magical object that allows its users to predict the future or to see what's going on in a remote location.
It was originally created by the elves. It was meant to be used for good purposes. It is potentially a very dangerous technology.
It's extremely dangerous technology. Be not deceived.
Powerful.
Long have you hunted me?
So that's Middle Earth, but what does Palantir do in a regular Earth?
What we do is we use what legal scholars call predicate-based assertion.
I also want to point out real quickly that I told you all that, number one, I know I warned you ahead of time Donald Trump would go in office. And I know that's the Royal Kokodesh. I believe with all my heart, speaking to my spirit. I have full faith in that because he did get elected. And a lot of people that, said they had the gift of prophecy and stuff. I don't claim to be a prophet, but people that claim to be a prophet said that Kamala Harris, best I remember, they said Kamala Harris would go in and she didn't. So I'm telling you, folks, like, you need to be careful. You listen to the people that say they're prophets. Time always tells all things. But I've said, and I have preached, I don't claim to be a pastor either, but I do preach constantly against fascism. And I'm telling you, like right here, this is the tools of fascism. Like, if you want to know what fascism looks like, this is the toolbox of fascism. All right. And they even said that in this video right here too. All right.
So we would look at you, and then we would go out and say, oh, there's lots of different things in your life that may be indicative of someone involved in bad behavior.
Put simpler.
So before this guy, let me put it simpler than what this guy's going to say. They look at you and they categorize you by your movements, your thoughts, and your actions. And then they decide if you're a threat or not. Or on a commercial side of things, they look as if that's an opportunity for somebody to be marketed to.
They make software that makes it easier for their customers to collect and analyze data and then act on that analysis with and without AI. By 2013, 10 years after their founding.
So these people started this in 2003. And now get this, they were doing this before AI was full blast. Okay. I mean, this is this is like baseline when they started this. And imagine, in 20 years now, 20 plus years, what they've been able to accomplish with this thing.
Palantir's client list included the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Marines, the Air Force, Special Operations Command, and more.
Did your company help to track and kill Osama bin Laden?
We can never. I'll tell you, the closest thing to an answer is there are when you look at when you open the paper and look in the news about these kind of things, there's a 2/3 chance, depending on the country involved, that somehow my company was involved.
Fundamentally, the mission that is
2/3 chance that the people that have been unalived or disposed of or etc., these people had a hand in. Just think about that. Think about that deeply. Okay, and these are contracted by the government.
Pushed to employees is that we're solving the world's hardest problems and supporting Western institutions. That is the main driver of sort of this militaristic culture that is developed inside of Palantir.
If you do not feel comfortable supporting the legitimate efforts of America and its allies in the context of war, don't join Palantir.
This entire message of we are the most lethal, we are the most able to surveil and process large amounts of data.
You have created the system which you call kill chain.
Kill chain is important to understand, folks. You need to really think this through. The other live stream that I've done about AI, you need to understand that they have a list. Okay. Now that list has been being developed for a long time. You think about no-fly list. You think about all this stuff in the background that's been going on for a long time. These people, your name is somewhere. If you like 7 Trumpets Prepper, I've asked AI, Jeremiah Skiba, shout out to him, brother Jake Grant too. We were talking about it and a live stream that I've done with them together, and we talked about AI. And Jeremiah, went over, how that AI gave a whole synopsis on the background of our lives, knew so much about us privately that, most of the public wouldn't know. Folks, they know this stuff on a massive, deep level. Just want you to understand that. Okay. So what you see and understand, it's layers of an onion deep with this stuff. Okay.
Privately. Publicly, the lawyers have some innocuous
So
something like tech for the amelioration of unwanted blah blah blah. Some term we're supposed to use.
Okay, let's.
For me, it's the kill chain.
Kill chain sounds good.
Kill chain isn't an original term created by Palantir. It's the more general military verbiage for the series of decisions leading from identifying a target to taking their life. Palantir's contract added their software and artificial intelligence to the kill chain.
It's quicker and better and safer and more violent.
It's tech that Juan helped market.
It reduces the distance you have to the problem, but when you're able to take a step back and really see all the narratives and how they were shaped and the actual application of these technologies, your whole world starts falling apart.
So there's that video. And like, if that doesn't give you some kind of poise and concern, I don't know what to really say to people, because the whole situation, the murder that took place the other day, you know, it really made me think what happened to Charlie Kirk, right? Is that if somebody wants you gone, right, there is an effort that can be made to get rid of somebody. But when the government wants you gone, you really better be concerned, because they have the means and the motive and the tools to do it nowadays. And if you like take the microcosm of what happened with that the other day, that you've seen a murder on live TV, right? And you macro size that to this technology being used where you could get rid of complete groups of people, cities, countries. This is the level that we're on. I mean, this is the stuff that you're seeing roll out today. Imagine a couple years from now, imagine a decade from now. You know, I mean, right here, absolutely. Yeah. And these, you know, all this National Guard rollout, internment camps, all the things that are being put on boots to the ground now, guys. Like, I want you to understand that there is a mechanization to that, right? And this is the central CPU hub of all this to be able to be done, because Satan doesn't have the ability to be omnipotent, you know, and all-seeing and all-knowing. He don't have that, okay? You don't have that toolbox. So how do you get there? Well, this is how you get there, okay? And let me share the screen and show you one more. Let me pull this up, and then we'll have some talking about it here. Let me see. Let me make sure that's centered up on the screen. Looks pretty good. I had reached out to this content creator, and oh man, there we go. Yeah, I'd reached out to this content creator and invited her to come on to discuss this. And I didn't hear back. I would have loved to have had her on for just a split second to talk. But
right, I think I figured.
Let me pause this. Okay. So this next video here, sorry guys, I'm trying to give you the whole screen. There we go. That's pretty clean. All right. So bear with me just a second. Let me get this one started. I'm going to pause along the way and commentate, and then I'm going to cut it off when the guy starts to show up at the end, because he uses some foul language, and I really want to keep my channel clean. We've done that for about 15 years, and I'd really like to make sure to always mandate that from now on. So here we go.
Figured out why Trump sold us out to Palantir, and if I'm right, it's way more terrifying than we even thought. So all of these AI tech companies are in a race to create AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. In short, this means it's smarter than any human on the planet. It's kind of like a competition right now between the...
I want to pause for a second, and if you know, I recently, actually, I'll put this thumbnail up. I think I did that one recently, right there. Events we should prepare for in the very near future. And you see that I have that same thumbnail right there about AI. And I said in that video that what's so dangerous is when you give AI arms and legs and a head. I'm just summarizing what I said, right? But when you do that, right there, you give it the ability to replicate itself. And I just think that's so interesting that a lot of people, I guess, is using that same thumbnail in the background, because it really puts in to perspective how dangerous AI is. Because when it's inside your tablet's one thing, and it can wreak a lot of damage just inside the tablet and all the stuff that we have connected to the grid nowadays. But when you give it arms and feet and a head, and that's when you're really in trouble.
US and China to see who can create it first. But basically, everyone is saying that it will be created more than likely in the next 6 months. We know Trump's ego and how he needs to be first with everything. And I think that Trump believes that Palantir will be the first to have AGI, which is why he's employed them to basically be a branch of the US government and have all of this power over us, because then we can take credit for AGI being created. It's possible that he's given them all of this surveillance power to collect all of our data because he thinks it might speed up the process. Here's where it gets creepy though. The minute we have AGI, it could almost immediately create ASI, which is artificial super intelligence. Basically God. It will know everything. It can control everything. It can wipe us all.
I kind of hate how she said that, you know, there's only one creator. There may be a lot of little gods created in this life, but there is only one supreme creator, the Most High Yahuwah. And I don't care how much technology you pump out here, I will never look at it as, you know, an almighty entity or whatever, because it is nothingness in mine eyes. And guys, forgive me for coughing so much, man. This sinus strain is crazy, but it is change of season. So here in Tennessee, that is the change of season.
Out in an instant if it wants to. When ASI is created, the entire human race is cooked. It cannot be controlled. This also very much aligns with the Elon and Trump fight over the big beautiful bill, because this bill bans state and federal governments from regulating AI for 10 years. As he said, the big beautiful bill contains a provision banning state and local governments from regulating AI. It's worse than you think. It would make it easier for corporations to get zoning variances so massive AI data centers could be built in close proximity to residential areas.
Now, let me just tell you, what's going on right now already with AI is people that says this won't happen to me. I can't tell you how many places in Tennessee I've drove already and seen the facial recognition scanners that are photovoltaic powered on the poles. And they are taking pictures of people and sending it back to government agencies already. And yeah, that's right. Reminds me of the Avengers Ultron movie and real life Skynet. And yep, Images of the Beast system. I'm telling you guys, we are getting there. Yeah, and this is, man, the comments are fire tonight. Y'all are killing it. The past 6 years have been pretty dystopian. It's crazy. I was literally thinking about making a Facebook post earlier today that said, if you were born in the 80s and 90s, you lived in the best time in generations. Because I'm telling you, these past, honestly, from like 2010 forward has just been a slide. Actually, the banking crisis 2008 for me, I've just noticed a complete change up since then. And then 2020 has, it is crystal clear. You know, it has been absolutely crystal clear since then. All right, here we go. Continue.
So if Trump wants to be the first with this, it makes a lot of sense why he would want this bill passed so bad. It also makes sense why Elon would be against it, because Elon has been very outspoken about the fact that he is pretty much terrified of the capabilities of AI if we let it get out of control. He has always been very for regulating it and thinks it's completely necessary to save the planet. I was already thinking about all of this, and then he posted this today. Whatever happens, we have got the spaceships and they do not. What do you think that could mean? Laura Loomer just posted, time to deploy Palantir to Los Angeles to deal with the illegals. You know you'd love to see it. You're lying if you say you wouldn't. Anyone you see posting something like this is a paid shill. So yeah, this is like biblical level horrifying shit that we're dealing with right now.
Apologize commentary there.
And I really hope I'm wrong.
Your life, my life, and everyone else we know.
All right, I'd love for that guy to talk, but he just can't control his profanity. So we're going to cut that off right there. All right, so let me see what somebody said right here. Yeah, that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Somebody said the 1980s were fabulous for people who wanted to live a worldly life in safety. Man, ain't that crazy? That is really true. Like, you could become, as a believer, you could become very complacent in the 80s and 90s because it was such a bubble. And, you know, the thing is, from the dawn of man to today, there has been violence and death and war and famine and plague and just all this stuff. And America, especially America, has been a microcosm for the past at least 100 years, past post-Civil War. Take out the Great Depression for a heartbeat, and you know, you have a relatively peaceful time because even in world wars, we didn't enter World War II until long into it. And World War I, that was a brief time period. So when you look at it collectively, it's this country hasn't seen mass violence on its soil, mass struggle on its soil outside of major natural disasters that's happened over time. But it is coming. There is a massive reset coming one way or another, and people better snap out of their complacency, because it is definitely going to be an adjustment time coming. And the thing is there also, I'm gonna put a link in the video description below if I didn't say it a minute ago, to some more on AI tech stuff that Jeremiah and Jake done streamed and covered some of the Palantir stuff too recently, I think, over there on Skiba News Nation. So I'll make sure to put that in the link too when I'm done with this tonight. But if you think about it, targeting surveillance systems seems to be the top tier priority that I'm seeing roll out right now. Now you're seeing that roll out on a small scale, like I said, because I literally can go 1 mile into my tiny podunk town that I live in. That's like what, population 3,000 people, maybe 4 now. And that it has one of those scanners right there on Main Street. On freaking Main Street, right here in my little midget podunk town in East Tennessee, like literally nothingnessville. And and so the integration for that into the B system, for that system to be fully aware and be able to target all of us, it's imminent. It's just imminent. And yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely coming, and time is moving faster. Time is moving along. I got up today on Sabbath and was chilling with my family. And it literally, I sit down for a minute, and I passed out on the couch earlier this afternoon for a while. And I woke up, and it had only been an hour or two go by, I guess. Played with my girls and stuff, and sat down, had a meal. Just the day went by in like a flash. And I'm sitting here at 8 o'clock at night now doing a live stream with you guys. It's just incredible how fast time is going nowadays. And I think that the preview of what's to come in the US though is Australia. Because if you look the internment camp stuff and all the crap that went on during CV-19, I think that one was that's probably the worst that I've seen yet. I mean, Orwell's 1984 was like right spot on with that one. Somebody said, watch Israeli News Live to see Charlie Kirk's real killer in live video from his right side view perspective. I've seen a picture where they showed another shooter, and I don't want to dive into that in this video, guys, because I mean, you're going to see a lot more stuff like that in the near future. And can I just go ahead and say this one? I'm just going to go ahead and air this out there. It occurred to me afterwards. I try to always go when my first thought is the correct thought. And I feel like that the Trump administration allowed Charlie Kirk possibly to be unalived. That went through my mind. That was a thought that went through my mind. And I was like, why would that go through my mind like that? And I'm like, well, a couple things. You need martyrs to move agendas. And he made a perfect martyr for that. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but that is the thought that went through my mind. And if anybody else thought that, please let me know. Because I'm like, you don't, like the time of, blaming a black man for murdering somebody, or blaming transgender people, or blaming certain groups. Those days are spent in illegals and all this stuff. You need grassroots, white boy, conservative, blah, 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 is the bad guy now. Because now we need to start getting rid of Christians and certain people of certain faith and the white man. And we need to be able to collectively get rid of everybody. And so now, the guy that's supposed to have been the killer, he was from Utah, I think Mormon, conservative. My wife told me tonight that, I said I didn't want to get into this, and here I am. I'm literally going to wrap this quick. But I think she said that the guy was roommates with another guy that was transitioning to be a woman, and I think that they were possibly involved in a relationship or something like that. And so, anyway, long and short of it, it just, when I get these feelings about things, all the way back for years, I get these feelings and things happen. I mean, like I said, when I knew my dad was going to pass away, I mean, it wasn't shortly thereafter, and I was like, he was gone. And I can tell you so many other things that's come to be that, like, I felt Trump was going to be elected. I told you 8 days before, and sure enough, he was elected. And I had that feeling that I was like, that man was martyred today to further an agenda. And I can't be sold otherwise currently. That I still stand behind that. And let me see here. What I just want to catch up the comments real quick, guys, before I finish out on this, because this stream's going to probably end here in about 10, 15 minutes. It wasn't a long stream, but I just wanted to share with you about Palantir, because I don't think, listen, I was like this day years old when I learned about Palantir not too long ago, and it's been around for 20 years. Like, it's really starting to bother me on a fundamental foundational level at the crap that is coming out in the public that I, as a scriptural faith-based believer, hardcore prepper, have looked and searched and sought out things, and this is still went right under my radar for decades. That's troublesome to me, because then I sit here and I'm like, what else did I miss? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being real with you, and that's really disturbing to me. It's really starting to bother me on a deep level. And I know myself and friends have spoke to each other that there's so much happening on a rapid scale anymore. I cannot keep up with it all. Like, even fellow YouTubers and truthers that I collaborate with, like, literally we'll be having a stream or a talk together or something over these past couple of years, and I'll be like, where did you find that info? Or they'll be like, where'd you find that info, Luke? And I'm like, dang. I'm like, what collectively are we missing? Because there is a lot of sleight of hand stuff going on out here. All right. So anyway, let's see. Somebody said 100%. 2025 is 1984. That is the comment of the night. I don't have the little hand clap shout music in the background, but let's give Learning the Way a shout out right there. Let's see. For the sake, absolutely, sister. Yes, time is going faster for the sake of the elect. Scripture tells us in Daniel, absolutely. You were not the only person to think that. Well, that's the first thought that went through my mind, folks. And somebody, yep, exactly what I thought. That whole situation's fishy. Yeah, now there's always a distraction from something bigger going on. That is for sure. Please, the setup was the same as the Trump rally. I know, guys. Oh, I know. And that's why I just don't want to get into it, because I don't want to feed into it. But I'm just, the whole Kirk affair looks suspect. Let me see. That would be a good stream to discuss coming up, Second Exodus. I have been thinking about that a lot lately. I really, really have. You know what, Vanthos? I will try to get to work on it. And that's what I'm saying, guys. I'm not trying to milk people for cash out here. I have never asked, that I know of in 15 years, for any support of my own. I always asked people to support other ministries. I've asked people to support events and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm really serious about, I think I'm going to announce a video coming up that if people are serious about supporting me in ministry, I will literally do my best to produce fire content and work from home constantly to do this. I actually have been a blue collar guy for so many years that I would actually love to transition to doing full-time ministry. And I literally don't need much support to do that. And I'm really thinking about throwing that out there. And I have over 100,000 subscribers. Now's the time that if yins want to support the people that are out here beating feet on the pavement trying to get the truth out to everyone, then, this is the time to, I guess, to really support that, We have Yahushua, we have one. It is said that Charlie started to ask their own question about Israel. I'd heard that he had went off kilter from where they wanted him to be. My stream keeps free. We were at the end. Let's see what this says. We were at the end. The Ruach HaKodesh revealed the 10 that will destroy Babylon. Look at the BRICS members. They are 10 now. Yep, very intriguing. I thought they went up to 11, but I might have to double check that. YouTube had been keeping you posts from me. I almost never see a post from you. I've searched now. I thought maybe you took a break. Well, I actually, in my job, I went to working and worked about the past 4 or 5 months. I had been working like 16-hour days, guys, and on Sabbaths, I had just been coming out and pass out. And I have just, since I've been unemployed now, this is about 3 weeks. This is week 3. I've been unemployed. I have never seen so much struggle to go and get a job. Like, I have so many certifications and stuff. It is nuts. I want to show you this, just totally side mission for a second. But the Indeed app, I think the Indeed app is garbage. I have applied for so many jobs. Like, literally, I applied 18 jobs. And I don't know if this is going to show it there. The screen, the glare. Yeah, it won't show. Anyway, I have applied for all these jobs, and it has just been a dumpster fire, and interviews with these people and stuff. And it's crazy, too, because you're, like, willing to work crazy hours, you name it, as long as I don't profane the Sabbath. And they still don't want to hire nobody. It's nuts. But I'd love to see you do it, bro. Well, I'm telling you, I'm going to, this coming week, I'm probably going to announce that. And if the support comes for that, I'm going to tell you what, we're going to do some adjustments studio, and I'm going to full-time produce content. I would love to do. There's so many things I want to put out that to actually put some time into and put some documentary work together, like the stuff I used to do years ago when I had so much time on my hands and life was not so crazy, and everything was not $5,000 to just eat a meal and even survive anymore like it is now. But let's see. Same with me. Haven't seen your vids anymore. Had to search for you in my subscription list. Yeah. Yeah, I know, guys. It's getting crazy out here. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't, because YouTube algorithm, AI, all that's running the show on here nowadays. So, you know, it is just unfortunately the state of affairs we are in. And I'm surprised they haven't silenced a lot of us truthers out there. And with that said, the last thing I want to share with you guys about that, just a reminder, is the TrutherCon is coming in October. It's going to be the 25th, 26th in Texas, and that I'm going to, and I'm going to be speaking at that. And my topic that I'm covering is the Days of Noah 2.0, how that you can for sure see the clear signs that we're at the goalpost of as of the Days of Noah, that we can check all the boxes for the return of Messiah, because we can see that we are in the Days of Noah. And so I hope that is, hope that's a uplifting conversation to people. I hope it reaches believers and non-believers, because whether you agree with me or disagree with me, or whether you believe or don't believe, as those events continue to roll out, leading crescendo up to the 7 trumpets revelation, it will be a clear determining factor there that obviously that, dang, whether I agree with that guy or not, this is all taking place. It's unavoidable. Let's see. Can you go back to ITH's part-time? I will still do some contract stuff for them, but I would just, my tenure with that's done. Guys, when I walk away from something, I just, I'm done, you know, like I just, it's not in my spirit to go back to things that I walked away from. And, you know, it was incredibly wild to me. And I'll share this in the video coming up about supporting the ministry, but it's incredibly wild to me how the situation happened, that where I went to work for, what happened to that company, that I'm not with them anymore. And they had let staff go, is that, I had no control over that. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just, you know, things happen to companies. And I thought, you know, it's interesting to me that I left something that I worked with for over a decade to have a fresh start. And then shortly after that, that's gone. I don't know if that was to get me away from that, to give me an opportunity to have a new start in life and like completely just walk away from that type of lifestyle and focus on family and ministry and stuff like that. I don't know, because I ain't afraid to work. I've worked 2 and 3 jobs at a time, but it's like, I just cannot go back in the workforce right now. And I'm like, I guess there is something I need to be doing otherwise, because I'm being held back from that. So we'll just see how things turn out. But I'm a young guy now in my early 20s. Any words of advice for trying to find a good career in today's world? Well, as somebody starting out completely fresh after pretty much 20 years of consistent employment, I still do off-grid contracting work as a private contractor. Make sure to find a job that allows you to keep the Sabbath. That's paramount. And then find the niche in life that you are good at and try to evolve where that you don't have to rely on an employer and you can work for yourself. That is the most paramount thing I would encourage. They thought Trump was going to bring revival, America's revival. It's really judgment. Oh, man, I feel like Trump was sent as a tool of judgment. Like he was setting, I was watching this recently. There was this interview and they were talking about he ever asked Messiah into his life. And boy, he just straight up told the guy that, like pretty much he had never asked for salvation. And that, if he done something wrong, then he just felt that he would try to do something better the next time and not essentially being a good pagan. And it was incredible to me how that, Christians and all these people just rally around that man. And especially the leaked Ghislaine Maxwell emails where that Epstein asked her to scrub Trump from the master list. And that's coming out now. So, I mean, guys, I swear, I just don't even know what to say to some of this stuff anymore, because we are in an hour where things are being unveiled. There is an unveiling, like whether you love me or hate me, whether you agree with me, disagree with me, like today, like it's as clear as just like getting a piece of letter in the mail that I use for a notepad tonight. It's like the mail is getting delivered. Like that says delivered to Lucas Cameron. There is receipts being delivered to the public now that you cannot hide. Like Trump sitting there making the detestable comments that he has said over the years. Like there is whole montages of them put together now, whether you're a Trumper, a liberal, a Democrat, a libertarian like myself, when it comes to political spectrum, when you look at that, it's like that man sat there and said that. I don't care if you support him or don't support him. The man said it, and he meant it. I do live streams nowadays. Pretty much all my content nowadays, when it comes to scriptural and things like this, it's live stream. And what I love about it is that it's not edited. It's not faked. Like I cannot take back anything that I said to you tonight. Can't take it back. You can take this right now and you can take a subset of what Luke said and be like, that man said it right there. I can't take it back, nor would I want to, because all I've tried to do is speak truth, because I'm going to be held accountable for everything I have said, taught, shared in the day of judgment. And man, if I make it in the kingdom, glory to the King. But I've done a lot of sin in my life, folks. I've sinned a lot after the knowledge of the truth. So, my goose might be cooked. However, hopefully this content reaches a lot of people and their goose won't be cooked. But I'm going to check out a couple more comments, guys, and then I'm going to go spend the evening with my wife. And I really love y'all. It has been such an honor and a privilege to fellowship with so many people on here over the years, and then to meet them in person, whether it was working with them in Alaska or going and doing ministry in Europe, being local here in America, the Expo convention that me and Brother Joel and my wife put on years ago. I think it was back right at the time of the pandemic. I think it's been 5 years ago now. It was right when pandemic happened, but the Restoring Foundations conference that we did, just such an honor to meet all the people there. It has been a great journey, and I am so grateful for all that has been able to go on. Let me see here. Yes, Abia, who will order your steps. I appreciate that. Good points. Thank you. We are at the start of the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego moment, and we cannot bow LM's men. Yeah, that will be coming too, I guarantee it. And another thing is the Noahide laws. That's something I did not go in on tonight, but that is something I definitely want to cover, at least touch on in other streams coming up, because the Noahide law thing is going to be pushed hard, and people that do not comply, unaliving by firing squad, unaliving by guillotine, and that is registered now. I think that was even registered all the way back in with the Obamacare years ago. So you have that going on. And yep, absolutely. You have that. Got to get that off there. That is a great way of saying that. I love how you type that out there. That's great. Trump fuse the dynamite keg. Absolutely. What's your Moedim plans for this year? Are showing interest. Perhaps this event will help bring the body together. I would like to, once again, another thing, people help fund the ministry. I really am thinking about next year. There is a campground. It's by Greenbrier up here in East Tennessee. And I've talked about this off and on with brothers and sisters for years, but I would like to rent that campground out and have the festival, celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles up there, or somewhere like that next year. But this year, my plan is to just fellowship with my family and friends, and also I think it is look right now while we're all discussing that, is that the week, so the second week of October, that you got Tabernacles, and then a week and a half later is that TrutherCon. So it worked out really nice this year, because I really didn't want to disrupt, Feast of Tabernacles for that, as we all will. So we better be sure we speak the truth. Yeah, we all going to pay. Let me tell you, receipts are going to come due. Playing, damn it. Yeah. Yeah. When the cry for righteousness gets fever pitch, they'll roll out the Noah line. Yeah. So things will get so bad that they will beg for a solution, and then they're going to give the solution. You're going to see people catch religion like a plague. And the problem is there's religion, and then there's true faith, and those that worship the Most High in spirit and truth, who He's seeking. And I swear, I cannot tell you guys how much just in the past month, while I've had time to, I'm really grateful I lost my job, because it just gave me time to clear my head, because I have just worked for the past 2 decades. And then I've really had time to just sit and be like, I want to fast. I want to pray. I want to be a better servant than I've ever been. It is really nice to have had this reset. And, I don't know, maybe, everything happens in its season. And says, how can I honor the feast alone? I'm the only person I know in my personal life that knows the truth, and I feel terrible. I can't honor y'all like he deserves. Well, what you do is you do the very best you can, because before long, I really feel like, now I don't know if we're all going to be sitting in the FEMA camp. I don't know if we're all going to be sitting in the kingdom, but there is going to be a point very soon where you're not going to have to worry about being alone, because there was this man, I think it was this father was talking to his son, and he said, son, don't worry about finding your people. They'll find you. Because he was explaining, he was like, he didn't want to run alone. He was running track, and he would go out in the morning, and he would run neighborhood, and he didn't want to be by himself. And he's like, well, I'll tell you what, you go out there and you consistently run, and you'll find others out there running like you. And when you do, you have found your people. And I was like, I'm going to keep hammering the truth, and I'm going to keep reaching out to those that believe. And eventually, you're going to have a collective. And I see right now ministries, even Torah ministries, so-called Torah ministries, going under judgment. This last thing I'm saying, I'm wrapping it up for now, is I'm seeing Torah ministries coming under judgment. And if you are out here in the Torah community, you know who I'm talking about. Because people are walking away from it. They are being cast out from it. And you can't have 20 or 30 people removed from a ministry and they all come back and say all the things and it not be true. There is a revealing that's going on right now that who's really in the faith, who's really for the kingdom, who's really trying to build, it is starting, and even Christian community, it is starting to really be filtered down who is serious. Because don't get me wrong, you can quote me on this. Lucas Cameron has sinned. I have sinned after the knowledge of truth, but I confess my sins, and I pray, Father, forgive me for all my sin and save me. But there is people out there that they are so high and mighty. Not only will they not confess that they're in sin, they will hammer down the people that call them out on the carpet. And it is a time right now that I want to be de-escalating any problems in my life. I don't want to be around anything that's problematic, people, situations, anything. And I also want to be as humble as possible, because right now, I believe the sifting is being done in the hearts of men and the minds. And you are going to see very soon, when the human fecal matter hits the vertical oscillator, you are going to see how bad it is and who really was good and who really wasn't that said they were. You're going to see that. Let me see these last few comments. I'm wrapping up. Yep. Separation of the wheat and tares. Absolutely. It is a purging. We are all be tested and tried. Yep. The hybridization of nationalism and religion is the last major stronghold. Yep. Is a purging. We're all being tested and tried. Yep. Well, guys, it has been great being on the stream with you. I promise now that obviously I have a lot of free time on my end, you're going to see a lot more content coming up. Elder Troy Miller will be joining me. Hopefully y'all will in this week or next. Some publications that he's made now about the Father's Calendar, which is great to help people for resource material to learn and adhere to that. I'd like to get Pastor Taiwo back on to visit again, talk some more about the calendar too. Got a lot of stuff I want to get in the works. To start beating the feet on the pavement on that here soon and try to get that knocked down. But guys, as always, until we see you again here at Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel, I hope the Most High Yah baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, in Yahushua name. Love you, everybody. Have a great Sabbath night.